Good morning. Good morning, Zoom. Good morning. Good morning, Zoom. Good morning, Facebook. Welcome, 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 Woo family. Coming on in. I see people coming on in. I see Abimbola. Welcome, welcome. Hi, Adam. Hi, everybody. Hi, Z. Hi, Phyllis. Welcome, everybody. Good morning. Good morning to all the people.
Morning, Grand Rising.
Good Grand Rising, Phyllis. It's good to have you here. Welcome, Facebook Live people coming in. Y'all, I would like to encourage you, if you're coming in on Facebook, to come into the Zoom room if you can, because this is going to be a really fun day today and very interactive. I see my Martine. Hi, my sweetheart. It's good to see you. Welcome.
Good morning, Candice. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing great, Adam. It's good to see you. Good to hear your voice.
Likewise.
Yeah, welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning, good morning. Everybody coming in, shaking it off. I'm shaking it off myself this morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're going to have a really fun day today. I'm excited for everybody who's coming in. Again, if you are on the Facebook Live, please come into the room. Welcome, 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 welcome. Grand Rising. Welcome, welcome, everybody. It's going to be a good morning. Make sure you have your journals, your pens. Make sure that you're ready to interact with this content today. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. Facebook, if you do come in, there's going to be a little special thing at the end that only Zoom people are going to have access to. So if that in any way encourages or inspires you to click the Zoom link and join us in the room, heed that call, heed that inspiration. Good morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning.
Wake up, everybody. It's time to get up. Wake up, everybody. It's time to get up. Stay woke, stay woke, stay woke. It's time to get up. Stay woke, stay woke, stay woke. It's time to get up. We're healing, we're dealing, we're growing. Together, together, releasing. We're teaching, we're moving. Together, together, we're learning, discerning. We're striving. Together, together, we're leading, connecting, transforming. Together, together.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. I am Candice Harper, relationship coach, hypnotherapist, and loving couple creator. And today, I will be your host for Pitching WUE with WUE, a dating game. So we're going to play a little bit of a game today, and it's going to be a fun and exciting activity just to experience an opportunity to practice our dating style. We'll find out how a potential love partner might perceive us on a date, get more connected to Woo family, and hopefully have laugh out loud fun. That's what we hope, right? It's early, but we can still have laugh out loud fun. So who is this session for today? So it is for anyone who hasn't dated in a while and is considering getting back in the game. Anyone who feels as though they are not having very much luck with dating and wonders if they are the problem. Anyone who just wants to become more masterful at dating because it is a game to master. And anyone who is maybe in a couple already but wants to revive the romance with dating. And so last week we talked about the 3 tenets of compatibility, which is lifestyle. You can change the slide, Tiff. Lifestyle, core values, and physical attraction. And we focused on core values and core value alignment, standing in who we are, embodying who we be, and the things that are most important to us. So if anyone was here last week and had a takeaway or anything that they want to share about core value alignment, please come off mute and tell me what it is you either remember about last week if you were here, or if you weren't here, what you know about core value alignment. Anyone want to come off mute and say what they know? Don't everybody jump at once. I know a couple people who were here last week. I might just call on you. Z, are you there, Z? What do you want to say about core value alignment? Z is being quiet. This is a quiet room today. Anybody? What about you, Adam? Do you want to say anything about core value alignment?
Yeah, sure. I'm Candice. Core value alignment. I believe it's important for me to, align myself with people who share the same, values with me, and who and also I want to align myself with people who are in the same community as me as well.
Yeah.
Before I, validate them as my partner, because I believe a lot of times we have the tendency to, validate that partner, and we don't even know their history, and we don't even know their health per se.
Yeah. So let me ask you this, Adam. Who do you align with first?
I mean, for me, I believe it's important for me to align with myself, because when I align with myself, then I know what I want for myself, versus worrying about what a person got or what a person don't have.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Thank you for that, brother.
You're welcome, Sister Candice.
Hopefully everybody also got that it's not about forcing alignment with anybody, but becoming aligned with ourselves and allowing and engaging with others with their alignment and discovering. And how do we figure out if we are aligned with others? We date. And that's all dating is am I aligned with you or not? Discovery, exploration, fun, seeing what's happening. For a lot of us, we find dating to be this thing that's just so hard. I hate it. There's so many people I don't like. Why has it got to be this way? We find ourselves feeling like we're in the trenches of it, when really all it is an exploration. We put so much pressure on it that it's got to be, an outcome with every date, or every date that we go out on has to be in some way good. And so we build this story that there's nobody good out there, and I just hate it. It's the worst possible thing in the world. If we just release and allow ourselves to explore alignment and see if it's there or not, and be okay with when it's not. Because when it's not, that's just the universe saying that's not the person. And that's okay. That's what dating is for. It's for that exploration. So what we're going to do this morning is practice. We're going to practice that. All right. So Tiff, you can, you already took the share down. That's awesome. So what we get to figure out this week is what it's like to date with intention, but most importantly, what do others experience when they are dating and getting to know us? Right? The idea is to develop intimacy and connection, to be open to seeing a potential partner's heart at every interaction. Even if it's somebody that you're thinking, I'm not necessarily attracted to this person. We're here to practice. We're just practicing being able to see each other's heart and build some level of knowing and intimacy and connection. You don't have to do that with someone that you don't like. You don't have to settle for anyone, but anyone you spend time with is valuable because they are practice. And you never know who will be the conduit to your ideal person. So there's no need to be rejecting. There's no need to make up your mind about people. It's just about exploration, right? A lot of times we think we have to chess piece people in and out of our lives. No, they either align or they don't, right? So consider that the idea that we have to be in control of either the conversation, the situation, the sex, the interaction, whatever, in order to be safe, that's the block that keeps our ideal partner directly out of reach because we feel like it's up to us to like force it to happen. So today we're going to practice what it's like to be aligned and allowing the people that we meet romantically and interactively to be who they are and just seeing what we can learn. No attachments. Right. And I'm assuming that in this room, there may or may not be a couple people who are attracted to each other. I don't know. I make no judgments. But this is a safe space. Woo Family is a safe space where there's not necessarily an attachment to someone in the room that you want to date. Maybe there is, but even so, you may or may not end up partnering with this person in this exercise. So this is an opportunity to just practice without attachment. Everybody's about to go on a Zoom date. And don't worry about whether or not you are matched with someone of your gender preference. Obviously, we have, more women than we have men. And, I don't want to be non-binary, but don't worry about that because this is not about gender preference. It's not about whether you would actually want to date this person. And don't even worry if you already know this person or not. So, we know each other in this community. Today, we're going to just get to play with each other like kids a little bit. This is about fun and imagination. And we're going to make believe that we are sitting across from a potential ideal partner. So as a matter of fact, let's take a moment to visualize that person. So if you, Adam, it looks like you're driving, so you can't necessarily do the exercise with your eyes closed, but for anybody else who's not driving and you're in a space where you can relax, take a deep breath in and let it out. And as you let it out, go ahead and close your eyes down. Allow yourself to get into a relaxed state. Take another deep breath in and let it out. And I want you to allow yourself to visualize your ideal person, whether you feel like you've met them or not. This is an opportunity to use your imagination. You know how little kids do when they play pretend. They imagine the entire world around them. They imagine who they are. They imagine who other people are. So allow yourself to do that. As you're breathing and getting relaxed, I want you to begin to see this person, this ideal person for you, this person who's exactly who you'd want to date. I want you to release any need to wonder whether they're out there or tell yourself anything negative about whether or not it's ever going to happen, and just imagine them. Allow yourself to wave the magic wand. Take a deep breath in and let it out. What does this person look like? What do they smell like? What is their energy like? Just go ahead and visualize them, invent them in their mind. Maybe you've already done that before. And if you have a person that you know is your person, just go ahead and imagine them. Imagine that you're going to go on a date with this person. Take a deep breath in and let it out. And as I count up from 5 or down from 5, this person is clear and vivid in your mind on the count of 5. They're coming clearer and clearer on the count of 4. You can almost see them. You can feel them. You can touch them. You can smell them on the count of 3. They are there. They're there for you on the count of 2. You can see them. You have no doubt who this person is in your mind on the count of 1. You have imagined your person, your ideal person. Take a deep breath in and let it out. Now, I would absolutely love a volunteer. I know that when I'm here, y'all are quiet. And I'm not taking it personally. I'm hoping it's just that I'm dropping gems and that means you're thinking about it. But I would love if someone would be willing to volunteer to come on camera so we can just talk about the rules of this game that we're going to play and kind of set you up to win. So who would like to come on camera? I know it's early. I don't want you to be worried about what you look like or anything like that. Remember, we're playing pretend. So you're going to pretend like you're dressed to go out on a date. Pretend like your hair is done or whatever. Who would like to volunteer? Do I have to request and call on somebody? Who is kind of thinking about it? Abimbola, are you there? Are you willing to come on? I see Amelia, Who's willing to come on? I see Sister, I see Marjorie.
Yes,
Okay,
this is
Coach
me.
Candice.
Our regular people.
Is that Amelia?
Okay, there's
Yes,
Amelia.
it
Yes, it
is.
is. It's Amelia.
Hi, my sweetheart. I haven't talked to you in so long.
I know. How are you?
I'm
It's so
doing
good to see
great.
your face and hear your voice.
Oh, thank you, my sweetheart. Are you now? I want to see your face. Are you coming on video?
Oh, I guess I can. I'm in bed, but hold on. I just like rolled over and I saw the room pop up. So I'm like,
Did
okay, let
you?
me see what's on.
I hear that. I totally get that. But you know what? We're going to pretend like you've been up and you did a full face of makeup and you're ready to go.
I'm gonna have to turn on the light. Hold on.
Okay, do what you got to do. And so this is what we're about to do. You know, it has everything to do with now we're in this online dating age, right? And what often hi beautiful. What
Hi.
often happens is that we end up going on digital dates, or the first meeting with someone is a sit down Zoom date. So the first thing that we want to think about is, who we are and how we present digitally. So, we're going to pretend, Amelia, we're going to pretend like you've gotten dressed for the date. You
Mhm.
got whatever you like to wear, whether, your gloss or whatever, your cute top, you're ready for the date. And the idea here is, and I like the way that you're positioned right now because I can see your pretty face and it's clear and I can see the light on your face. And so for those of us who, if you've never online dated, if you've never met anybody digitally, these are the kinds of things that are important because it shows that I'm confident enough to present myself, right? I'm confident enough to let you see who I am. So you want to sit either like Amelia is with some level of relaxation, or how you would on, if you were sitting across from somebody at a table at a coffee shop. You want to actually sit and present yourself, right? And the more participatory we are when it comes to the online dating or meeting somebody digitally, the more we get out of the experience, the more we get to understand, that person. And as I give you more of the questions and things that we're going to ask each other, you'll understand why it's very important to be able to, see a person clearly. So I want to ask you, Amelia, you feel physically comfortable right now?
Mhm.
Yeah,
I'm in bed, girl. Yep.
you are, right? Tell me, what do you pretend wearing? Like you've gotten ready for a date. What do you have on pretend?
I have on a tight black jeans with some orange boots. I have on a cute orange top that goes over it and a nice blue blazer to go with it.
Yeah, and I know you got on some banging earrings.
Oh, girl. Earrings.
Right?
I've got on a little makeup. I'm not much of a lipstick person, but I got some eyeshadow on. And then
Yeah.
my hair is just like out and like afro-y.
Curls popping.
Mm-hmm.
So what would you like if you were on a real digital date? What's something you might bring with you? Like something you might have with you, like a glass.
Maybe like a glass of not necessarily wine, but just maybe something sparkly. I like to make mocktails, so like a ginger beer with like spritz or something.
Yeah, I love that. That's awesome. So even
Maybe
stuff like,
some mhm.
go ahead, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say maybe like snacks or chocolate or something of that nature.
Yeah, nice. And even those kinds of things, those are the kinds of things that are like points of conversation, right? Like things people ask us about, oh, this is my favorite chocolate. I got it when I was, you know, in wherever they make chocolate. Things like that help to foster, this is who I am, these are things that I'm into, and they foster conversation. So here are some other things to just be aware of if you meet somebody online. Light directly on your face, like Amelia took the time to turn on her light so you can see her. Are your hands free from your device? So normally if you're sitting and meeting somebody digitally, you want to be hands free. What are you wearing on the bottom in case you have to get up? So I love, Amelia, that you said that you'd be wearing your tight black jeans, but these are the things we don't often think of. And making sure that there's not going to be interruptions, things like that. And making sure that you've turned off all of your distractions, your notifications, your dinging, your, sounds that go off, etc. And so now we are ready for our date. We're ready for our online date, and that is what we are about to do. Thank you so much, Amelia, for volunteering and
Of
coming on.
course. Good
I
to
love
see you.
It's good to see you too. I love seeing your face. We got to catch up. So now we're ready for our date, right? We know these things. We've got these things in place. Does anybody else want to add into the chat anything that they feel like they would want to have, that they want to do, or that they wonder about when it comes to getting ready for a digital date or even an in real life date before we go into the meat of it? Anybody want to type in the chat? Come off mute, ask any questions about what we're doing so far.
I like music.
You
Like
like,
I would, if we were out at a restaurant or out in a actual physical space, there might be music playing in the background. So I might have music playing in the background, or maybe some aromatics, so maybe some essential oil in the diffuser or something like that to kind of set the tone of the conversation. Also kind of keep me distracted and out of the nervous moment.
yeah, I love, and music can be so soothing, right? And music and sense, like you mentioned, who is this that I'm talking to? I can't see, I can't find you.
Oh, it's Tiff. I took my camera off because
Oh,
it was doing some crazy glitchy thing on my end and I didn't want it to distract from you, but it's
oh,
Tiff.
okay. Appreciate
Here I
that.
am.
Yeah, but you're absolutely right, Tiff. All of those things, those sensory things, right, that support us in feeling relaxed and letting ourselves get comfortable. So I see a couple people are typing in the chat.
Yes. So Valencia just shared that she just got out of an 18-year relationship with 3 children. So
Mm,
this is all new to me. My sister, myself, we
mm,
could chat offline about that because I was too once in that spot,
yeah,
coming out of a long-term relationship and having children. And dating is very different
yeah.
and very scary because you have to think about the children and what you want them to know and what you don't want them to know and all that other stuff. Because everybody ain't worthy of meeting or knowing about the children.
Right. That is very true. And that's just, three more important reasons that this core value thing is so real, right? So as a mom, that's a whole new set of core values that you want to align with. But also one thing I know from my clients and people that I work with who were in a long relationship and are now in the dating game. One thing you want to be very careful of is to give yourself grace around knowing how to do it, right? Because even people who've been doing it for a while, it's all an exploration. So there's no knowledge that you need to have around the rules. Even though people will tell you that there are rules to dating, there aren't rules. What it is now that I'm on my own, I get to figure out who I am on my own. And not only do I get to figure it out, I get to choose things for myself as a single person. I get to align with what's most important to me as a single person and redefine myself if I want to as a single person. And as long as I'm clear and confident about that and standing in that, it doesn't matter what else comes along with me, right? So whether it's that I'm a single mom or that I have things that are going on in my life that dictate where I live, or I have a sick parent that I take care of, whatever it may be, those different aspects about us that we think are obstacles or challenges to meeting a partner, or we think make more work to meeting a partner. While that is true, they are also opportunities for really being discerning about the value of a relationship with somebody else, if we choose to let them be. And I often say too, like on those very first dates, you may not necessarily lead with all the things you have going on in your life. But, obviously, if you're a mother, you're going to share that you're a mother, and it's how you frame what that is. If it's something that how you feel emotionally about it, it's how you're gonna express that to someone new and see if they can align with that, right? So if I'm a mother, I love being a mother. I know I'm good at it. It's, I live for my kids. I think they're fantastic. And the person that I want to partner with is someone who is just as dedicated. I can be that. And if they're not, that will show up right away. I can say I'm a dedicated mom and it's a very serious job for me. I love this job, or it's a challenging job for me, but I'm committed to it, whatever that might be. If it's true for me, somebody who can align with it, you want to make sure that they know that that's what's true for you to discern whether they're going to be able to stay for it or not, you know. But that's all you really have to do. Give yourself grace. You don't have to be some like masterful vixen, you know, trying to compete with everybody out there. Just, you know, allow yourself to explore this new dating realm, because yes, it has changed in 18 years. It's constantly changing. But that doesn't mean that there's anybody out there that's more ahead than you are, because your person wants you, whatever's going on with you. Does that make sense? Does that resonate?
It does for me. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're very, very welcome. All right, so now we're ready for our date, right? If everybody's ready, if anybody's not ready, let me know if you have any questions. We're about to go out on a date with each other, with the WUE family. So the first thing we're gonna need is the questions that we're gonna ask on our date. So Tiff, if you could bring up that slide. These questions, they're actually from a deck. There's a online coach, he calls himself Ace Metaphor, and he writes these decks of cards that are for dating. This one's called Tonight Let's Talk. And so he's got a ton of questions. There's also another set called 36 Questions That Lead to Love that was in the New York Times. You know, just compelling questions that you can be asking someone on a date to get to know them. And so what we're about to do right now is we're going to go into breakout rooms. So I want you to let me know. You can actually advance the slide, Tiffany. I want you to let me know if you feel like you cannot participate in this activity, because we do want to make sure that everybody, you know, has another person in the room with them. We're going to go out into breakout rooms by twos, and we want to make sure that everybody has someone in the room with them. If it's something you absolutely 100% cannot do, just let us know so that we don't send you into a room, or, you know, and then that person's left by themselves just looking at your Zoom framing. But if you can do it, if it is possible, these are the questions that you're going to need. So the first one, if you and your significant other disagree on a direction, how would you ultimately make a decision? The second one is describe your relationship with your parent of the opposite gender. How has this relationship shaped how you treat potential mates? And the third one is, when you look in the mirror, what kind of person do you see? So we're going to put these questions in the chat so that you can access them, right? So I want you to take turns asking each other these questions one by one. And I know you might be looking at these questions like, oof, it's early. Do I have to be talking about this stuff right now? But remember, this is just practice. This is just practice. So wait, let me see in the chat. I see some questions.
It looks like Marjorie said she can't participate.
Okay.
When you asked who couldn't, she said me.
Okay.
So I'm going to have to adjust the room that Marjorie would have been dropped into.
Okay. Okay. And I see, please explain a direction. Is that from Chantel or Shawnee? Who's that? Remind me of when I said a direction. Because I don't remember saying it. It's Shawnee. Coach Shawnee, when did I say, I don't remember what I was talking about when I said a direction. Can you, it's one of the, okay. On one of the questions. Hold on one second. Let me go back to it. All right. Tiff, can you bring that slide back up? Because I don't have them in front of me. Okay, so she said, if you and your significant other disagree on a direction. Okay, so a direction is a way that you would want to go around something. So like, I want to spend our savings on a fantastic vacation. I want to spend it on a down payment on a house. Or I want our kid to go to a private school. I want our kid to go to Montessori. Like, yeah, you got it. Okay, she said a thumbs up. So yeah, on a decision, a direction, a choice, you know, how would you ultimately make a decision? How would you ideally, and the thing is think about if you're already with this person, right? When you're answering the question, how would you ideally make a decision? How would you hope that it would go? What would you want from a significant other? Because when someone asks that question, they want to know how you would interact and deal with them around that, right? Any other questions? Any other questions about what we're about to do? All right, so when we go in the breakout rooms, you will have 5 minutes per question because each person should get a chance to answer, right? You're going to take turns answering the question one by one. Make sure to give both people an opportunity to answer fully because I know sometimes, I know for me, I get into a breakout room and I can chit chat and then the time goes away because we're catching up and we're saying hello or whatever. But you want to make sure that for each question, each person gets an opportunity to give their answer. Listen actively and openly, right? You want to be present, listening to each other, and focus on aspects of that person that make you want to connect. So this is like softball practice because we're already a community, right? But allow yourself to just be present and focusing on, this aspect about this person makes me want to connect. Right? That when you hear things, listen for what they're saying. Even if you think you already know certain things about them, listen for those things that make you want to connect further and just be in the practice of that. We're just practicing using that muscle, right? Any questions before we go into breakout rooms? I know that I saw, I think Z had mentioned that she wants to stay in the main room. Now, Z, is this for any particular technical reason, or is this just you avoiding the activity? Are you avoiding being in the room? Come off and let me know. Because if you're avoiding it just to avoid it, let's talk about that. I feel like this will be a good exercise for you. Is that you, Z?
It's a combination. And I would say more that I'm not ready for this kind of conversation with anybody.
Got it. Got it. So what about the possibility, and this is just an invitation, because this is a safe community and a loving community, what about the possibility of being authentic about that with one person in a room and seeing what is possible around them knowing that you're not fully comfortable with the answers? Not that you have to answer those questions, not that you have to say anything you don't want to say, but allowing yourself to be held by a space to be held by someone else for you, just to see what else you want to talk about. What about just exploring it a little bit? Are you open to doing that?
I guess.
Yeah, just an invitation, my sweetheart. Just explore it because you're safe. This is a safe space.
Yeah, I
Okay.
know that. I don't feel safe with myself right this minute. So
I
that's
get that. I get
yeah.
that. And sometimes when we don't feel safe with ourselves, the best thing we can do is let somebody else hold a little space for us. Right? I totally understand that.
All right.
Thank you, my sweetheart. Thank you for being willing. All right. Does anybody else have any questions before we go in? Tiffany, are you ready?
Yes, I've set the breakout rooms for 15 minutes.
Okay.
If you want me to make them a little longer, I was figuring 2 people in a room, 3 questions. That should give everybody enough time to
Yep.
really dive deep into their responses. Everyone has been assigned a room and will automatically be pulled into their room. And the only thing I have not figured out is how to keep me, you, and Chantel from going into a room. But I've put us into a room and we can leave and come back into the space
Okay.
because
Okay.
it still wants to put me, you, and Shan in a room.
Gotcha. Okay. So we
All
just,
right.
as soon as we go, you and I and Chantal will
We'll
leave the
just come.
breakout.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So I'm opening the rooms now.
Awesome. All right. So we came right back. So for the Facebook Live people, I kind of want you to be able to be interactive around this as well. Obviously, you can't do it with each other, but stay with us because we'll see. So I see Sister is still here. I see Aisha's still here. I'm guessing that's because they felt like they cannot come on and participate. I know Martine said something about, Martine, how is your internet out and you're on the Zoom? She said her internet is out. Maybe it's going in and out. All right. So with our questions, Tiffany or Chantel, are either one of you willing to engage with me or able to?
All right. Martine said her internet was kind of sketchy, so she might not be able to. And I didn't see anything in from Aisha. So I can participate with you.
Okay.
So we can get started.
Yeah, can we bring the slide back up
Sure.
with the questions on it?
There we go.
Yeah. And these are just, I mean, just in general, these are just good questions. The whole deck, like I said, it's from the Tonight Let's Talk deck. The whole deck is just a good set of questions. You know, sometimes we think that if a question has what we consider to be a serious answer to it, we feel like it's off limits as you're getting to know someone. But here's why we practice. So we want to get into a space where we are confident about who we are, what's going on in our lives, what we've been through, because we do want to be able to be authentic about it without burdening someone with the heaviness and the ills of our situation. We want to be able to read the room, right? And know when something's appropriate to say, not to say. But we also don't want to avoid that, life is tough and people go through things. We don't want to pretend like we're this perfect person, or like Chris Rock says, we don't need to bring our representative. We just want to get into the practice of being able to talk about what is so, talk about what is true for us. Like we were talking about earlier, if you're a single mom and you've been through a divorce, things like that, we want to get into the practice of being okay with talking about that sort of thing. So Tiffany,
Right.
you and I are going to practice a little bit. Okay. Yeah. And so I'm going to ask you a question first. So we're on our date, right? It's great to meet
All
you.
right.
Let's
Great to
pretend
meet you
like we've
too.
done all the niceties. Wait,
All right.
You look ready? All right, my
Yeah.
first question to you is, if you and your significant other disagree on a direction, how would you ultimately make a decision?
So this has happened in real life several times. We usually go back and forth with what our points of merit are. So stating why it is we want to do this. So for example, planning a vacation. And it has been that I'm like, oh, maybe we don't have the finances right now for the vacation. We need to focus on other things. And he's actually been like, no, we got to live in the moment. Everything will work out. We really need to take this vacation. And so essentially, it's really been about hearing the pros and cons and really looking into the logic of things. And there
Hold
have
on,
been times,
Tiffany. I'm going to stop
sorry.
you for 1 second because I see in the chat Aisha is saying that the group meeting didn't open up for me. Does that mean, Aisha, that you didn't get to go into a breakout room and you wanted to go?
Yeah, I wanted to just be sure that I was playing my part. And I went to the breakout room. I was thinking room 3, but the room never opened up.
Oh,
Let me see. That's interesting because then where's the other participant from room 3? Are they sitting in there by themselves?
mhm.
Yeah, that's why I came out and came in.
Okay, so then Candice, we can just keep Aisha here in the space with us.
Yeah. Okay. So how about this? Aisha, are you open to doing this exercise with Tiffany?
Sure.
Because I already kind of know the gist of the so it's better for okay, good, awesome. All right, so Aisha and Tiffany. Tiffany, do you want to continue? Aisha, you were able to hear Tiffany so far, right?
I didn't, but I can.
Okay, so
Okay.
Tiffany, do you
So-
mind?
No, absolutely. I'll restart over. So the question was, if you and your significant other disagreed on a direction, how would you ultimately make that decision? And so what I was saying is that this has actually happened in the past, particularly pertaining to vacation, where he wanted to go on vacation and I was, oh, we don't have the finances to be able to do that. And so the conversation came down to, pros and cons of actually taking the vacation. Um, as Shawnee would say, manifesting the funds to be able to go on the vacation instead of getting stuck in this poor man's mindset that, oh, we don't have the finances to be able to do so. Looking at it like, okay, we want to do this. What can we do in order to make this happen? So a lot of it boils down to I guess, conversation and logic, where each person kind of debates or has their list of reasons why something should or shouldn't be done, and then the other realizing or conceding what would be best. So that's how we make ultimate decisions. And what about you? How would you and your significant other ultimately make decisions if you both wanted to go in different directions?
Are you there, Aisha?
I see her still in the space.
Yeah. Is she on mute, maybe?
Can you
There she
hear
goes.
me?
Oh, now
Yes, now we can.
Okay.
So I was asking, how would you and your significant other ultimately make a decision if you both have two different directions? Now I think we lost her because I don't see her on the screen there.
No, did she, maybe her internet is spotty. So
Okay.
we'll go ahead, me and you.
Mhm.
So
She's coming back in. She's coming
is she
back
coming back
in.
in?
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
I love the tenacity. Like, I am going to participate.
I apologize.
It's okay.
No problem, Aisha.
Okay.
Thanks for
How
joining us.
do my significant other and I make a decision together?
Yes.
Yeah, if
Okay.
you were to disagree, how would you ultimately make a decision?
Wow. Well, if we were disagreeing on something, ultimately I would I would listen to his perspective. Um, I would listen to my partner's perspective. I would take into consideration my own point of view. I would share it if he's open to it. And then I would encourage him to work with me to find a common ground or a middle ground,
Mhm.
a compromise. If we were disagreeing, if we were on opposite sides of the fence, I would likely go with what he is desiring unless I'm adamantly opposed to it.
Mm.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Can Tiffany and Aisha, do you feel like you have heard and taken in each other's answers?
Yes.
You do. Okay. Aisha, yes for you?
Yes, what
I know
I heard,
you dropped out. Go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah. So the things that I heard Tiffany say were about like vacationing and coming out of the mindset of not being able to, not like thinking, oh, he wanted to go on vacation. She felt they didn't have the resources. And I believe what the conclusion to that was, or how she handled it or would handle it, would be to just come out of the mindset of scarcity
Mhm.
and begin making plans and figuring out a way to make it happen.
Got it. Got it.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So now I'm going to be interrupting y'all a little bit because I see in the chat, like Martine, we're going to go to the second question so y'all can do the second question. Martine said, the second question troubles me. I always consider the old, I don't know what she means by that. Old piece of advice that you should choose a man who has a good relationship with his mother, but I never considered how one would perceive my brokenness about the father-daughter relationship. How would I answer it? And how does my situation align with what I want? So that's all about healing, Martine. So if you're on a healing journey around that, that's where you're at. Situation aligned with what I right? Want. If I'm on a healing journey around something and I'm on a date with somebody, that's who I am, that's where I'm at. And someone who can't be with that and judges it or has things to say about it is not aligned with you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So this is, the work that we do around being able to sit and have these dating conversations is in my regular life, I am on a healing journey. In my regular life, I am getting to know me and getting in alignment with what's important to me every day, more and more. It's the practice that I'm in. So if someone asks me a question about it, it might be something that they may judge because who knows where they are on their healing.
Mm-hmm.
It may be something that they can't be with, but that's how we get. I love that question, Martine. That's how we get to
Because
know.
they're not meant for me anyway.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's okay.
This is great because, I always focus on what I need and what I want to ask. Doing this exercise is pulling stuff out of me, making me see myself, and also considering what somebody else wants.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And that's the important thing is like Shawnee always says, relationship. That's what it's all about. Chantel from Facebook, Jackie said, I have had a good relationship with my father, but not his family. My paternity was questioned, so I felt outside. My temperament is different from theirs, and I am more educated than my dad's family. He is very proud of me. I am quite demanding of the men in my life. A potential mate has to be supporting of me and my endeavors as I am of his. I like attention. I prefer kindness in a person. That is, Jackie, that's a beautiful thing to share on a date.
And I agree with that.
Right? And someone who is of a similar mindset or understands is someone that you can give focus and energy to.
Mm-hmm.
Someone with whom you share that and he's like, I don't know about all that. He ain't the one.
No.
He's not the one. All right, so what were you about to say something, Tiffany?
Yeah, I was about to say it's very interesting because I had two opposite sex parents. So I had a biological father and I had a dad, and for me they're two different, for some people they mean the same thing and for me they don't. My biological father is who created me with my mother, but my dad is the person who raised me. And so my relationship with the opposite sex can be very triggering because I do have abandonment issues around dealing with, men of the opposite sex. Well, that's an interesting one. What does that mean, women?
Right. We know what you mean.
But dealing with my relationships with people of the opposite sex, particularly intimate ones, because there is that fear of like abandonment or being left behind. Whereas that came from my biological father, but when it came down to my dad, that wasn't the case at all. It was more like constantly maybe seeking his approval so that maybe he wouldn't leave. So giving in, like doing things to make sure that they stayed around.
Yeah, I hear that. And that you're not alone with that, Tiffany, because it's that, trying to do stuff, trying to be enough, trying to be good enough and right enough and a good girl because I don't want to be hurt again, right? I want to have love. I don't want you to leave me. I don't want to be abandoned. I mean, that is the story. That is the age-old story that a lot of us deal with. Right. And it's honest and it's real. Now, if you're on a very, very first date with someone, you got to read the room. If you're dealing with someone and that's the direction the conversation goes in.
He might be check, please. He might be like, check, please.
Right. Exactly. But our knowing that the journey that we're on, our knowingness of that and our confidence in that is what will support us no matter what the conversation. Right. So you're not going to necessarily lead with all that information, but as you're on your healing journey around it, you know where you're at, and you can stand confidently in knowing that, first of all, none of us has control over what the people who, gave birth to us and raised us, what they chose to do. We're not responsible for their choices. We are responsible for our own healing. And if you're someone who wants someone who is responsible for their own healing, you want to make sure that you're someone who represents yourself honestly as someone who's also responsible for their own healing. You don't, it's not a beauty contest. You're not trying to be some perfect person compared to somebody else. You're not trying to, win out because you have represented in a way that's better than someone else. If what you want is true love, intimate connection, who you are, what you've been through, and how you are navigating it is everything. Because you want someone who can be with that. Let's go to the second question. I know we're probably running low on the 15 minutes, but that's okay. Let's try to get
Yes.
in. Tiffany and Aisha.
Yeah, so where is Aisha? Aisha, how would you describe your relationship with your parent of the opposite gender? And how has that relationship shaped how you treat potential mates?
So I think that Jackie's share was for number 2. So I just wanted to be clear on that. She was answering it ahead of time.
Ooh, thank you.
Yes. And I see EI Robin's hand has gone up. Aisha, are you able to answer question 2?
Is she still with us?
I'm not sure. EI Robin, you can come off mute and ask your question.
Good morning. I was watching on Facebook, but I didn't feel like writing all of that. So the answer to number 1 is that I'm single. I'm not in a relationship right now. And for number 2, I share a very similar story to Tiffany. I had 2 dads. My biological dad was in jail for most of my life. And so I didn't get to know him until I was 17, and then he went back, and then he died. And so my stepfather was available physically, but mentally, every other way, he was absent. So my experience of, and then there was domestic violence in the house. So whenever my parents fought, my father, when he would get kicked out, would come to me because I would be the one most emotional. Please don't go, because I did not want to not have a father again. So I experienced those feelings of abandonment, and also because, similar to Jackie, of the way that I felt treated by his mother, I also there were feelings of betrayal and also exclusion. So it wasn't a question of whether I was his daughter or not. It was more, my parents were very young. They were 16 when I was born. So I don't even know how to explain that.
Well, let me ask you this, Eva Robin. So how has that shaped how you treat potential mates? So if we're sitting across from each other and we're on a date, and I'm a man that you're on a date with, I'm assuming, I don't want to gender assume as far as who you're okay. So we're sitting across from each other, and I ask you, so this experience, how is it shaping how you are with potential mates? What would you say?
I would say that what I hold on to is, and I'm working on it. I too am on a healing journey, but the thought that I'm not loved, loving, or lovable is the first thing that comes up. So I doubt myself, and I definitely don't trust everybody that I meet. I scale the room as well. I scale the person. I weigh the conversation, and sometimes I'm open, depending on how it feels in the beginning, and sometimes I'm looking for that thing that will make me say, aha. So
gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So now, I don't know if you were here for the beginning that we're set
I
up.
was, yeah, I was.
You said?
Yeah, I wasn't in the room, but I was on Facebook.
You were on Facebook. So yeah, so the idea here is, if I'm asking this, this question is asked of me on a date, this is what I'm sharing with the person that I'm on a date with, that, I might be looking for a gotcha with you,
Mhm.
right? Is that something you feel like you could authentically share with someone that you're on a date with?
Yeah,
Huh?
actually, I do, and people run for the hills.
Yep.
I might share too much.
Yeah.
I'm very open and authentic about who I am and where I am.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's just too much for people sometimes. But I don't want to come in with a lie.
But here's the thing about it, yeah, Robin, it's okay if it's too much for people, because if it's too much for them, you don't need to be with them.
Right.
Right? Like they're just not your person. And I know that the traditional thinking is that you're supposed to look as good as possible, especially in the beginning. That you're supposed to, represent yourself in a way that will be attractive to most. And you only need one. You only need one ideal person. You're not
Right.
trying to be attractive to most, and that's where we end up getting stuck. Is that we want to try to attract as many as we can, thinking, oh, then I'll get to pick one.
Mhm.
But that's counterintuitive to how it actually works. So the way that we get to choose is you choose based on that person who you can be 100% yourself with. Not you choose based on, I have so many choices, so let me take the one that looks the best to me.
Right.
Yeah. So let them run for the hills. Now, if you're dumping it on them like it's their burden,
No.
that's one thing, right? But if you're just saying, this is what's been true for me, and this is what I'm working on, or this is what I'm healing around, this is what I know about myself, and they're like, oh, check, please. Like, okay, you won't be able to be with it because that's where I'm at.
Right.
Yeah. If you want intimacy with me, you're not going to be able to be with that. You get that?
I do get that.
Yeah. Thank you, Robin,
Thank you.
for coming on. I think, is everybody back?
Yes, I was just texting Shan that I think everyone is back in the space.
Yeah.
And we still have question 3 before we move into the next part. So I'm gonna put question 3 back up.
Yeah. Well, hold on. I want to make sure, I want to honor the 8 o'clock people first.
Yes.
Yeah, so we do have more to this exercise. The people who have to leave at 8 o'clock, thank you so much for being here. If you can, come back and watch the replay, because we're going to do a whole new exercise in this next section that is going to, help to buoy whatever we've experienced in the breakout rooms. And, if you were in the breakout room and you want to experience I guess the payoff of being there, you want to come back later on, come back and watch the replay. Otherwise, have a fantastic day. Thank you for being here with us. If you have to leave at 8 o'clock, if you don't, please stay, because we have more exercise to do around what transpired in the breakout rooms. I'm going to say, Tiff, that we don't necessarily have to do question number 3, because I do want to make sure that we have enough time for everyone who is in the breakout rooms to complete the last part of the exercise. And I think we'll be able to do that with the couple questions that we did. We kind of veered off a little bit, and luckily had other participation, which was fantastic. I love that Robin and Martine and Aisha, that they were able to come in and participate as well.
Okay.
So, I felt like, we got that. So, welcome back, everybody who came back from the breakout rooms. We are going to do the next part of the exercise. So one thing that's really great that I experienced when I was a professional matchmaker was the importance of date feedback, and how transformational it can be to learn how others may perceive us. And so as a matchmaker, it was often my job to deliver the date feedback after the match. And this way the client would know, or could not only let me know what their experience was like, they could also get a very compassionate and candid truth about what they themselves were like in the company of someone they were interested in. And that's very, very valuable feedback. Sometimes we don't want to know those things. We don't want to know how other people perceive us in situations like that because we're already maybe either nervous or feeling guarded, feeling vulnerable. Now, if you are Be the Tree Sister, which I know we have a lot, and I know, there might be a couple people who aren't yet, you might have a particular identification for feedback. And if you are Be the Tree Sister, I want to request that you volunteer and come on and talk about what feedback actually is in our context. Sister,
So
go
let
ahead.
me see.
Go
We
ahead.
have a few of them in the space. I'm looking at Valencia. Are you able to share with the community who have not been part of Be the Tree what feedback means?
Yes, good morning. It's nourishment being offered. Just, what their thoughts are and, what they could offer you to, trying to remember like the right term, I guess feedback just to help you see it from their point of view. Nothing like critical or hurtful, but
Yeah.
just more like nourishment, just for you to proceed forward. I'm
Yeah.
complete.
Thank you. Thank you for that, Sister. So yeah, it's nourishment, which also means that we can take what we want and we can leave what we don't want, but it's a support for our evolution, right? And we don't do ourselves or our partners any favors by only trying to say the nice things, by only trying to be sweet about it. We want to think in terms of compassionate truths and express them with a spirit of support. So we're going to take a moment. I'm going to give 5 minutes in our journals to complete the following feedback questions. The first one, did you enjoy your date? On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate their date readiness? Did you learn at least 3 things about your date? And if you feel like you have time, you can write those 3 things down. Would you fix your date up with a family member or a friend? And what advice would you give your date for their future romantic interactions? Does everybody can see the questions, has access to the questions? Anybody have any questions about the questions? All right, so admin, can we do a timer for 5 minutes?
Sure can.
All right.
Starting now.
All right, awesome. So did you enjoy your date? On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate their date readiness? Did you learn at least 3 things about your date? Would you fix your date up with a family member or friend? And what advice would you give your date for their future romantic interactions?
I have a question, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Is this what we was? Is this the feedback questions for the date?
The date you just had, were you, I'm sorry, I can't see who's speaking. Who's speaking?
I'm sorry, it's sister. Excuse me. I'm sorry, Candice. Good
That's all
morning.
right,
Good
sister.
morning, beautiful.
Good
Good
morning, my
morning.
love.
Yeah.
So you were in a breakout room on a date, right?
If I was in the breakout room on a date, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
were you in one of the breakout rooms on a
I
date?
was. Yes, I was. Yes.
Okay, so you're actually giving feedback to you're writing feedback for your date.
Oh, okay. Okay, got it. So,
Yeah.
okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for that question. Think about your experience with that person and just be as candid, compassionately candid as possible. Remember, feedback is nourishment. What do you want them to know to support them in having a good dating practice? What do you want them to know that you perceived about them? What do you think might help them, help support them? Just keep in mind, feedback is nourishment.
We have 1:10 left.
Okay.
All 30 seconds.
All right. I'm getting closer.
And that is time.
All right, perfect. Does anybody need more time? Everybody's good? You can raise your digital hand. I can't see you, but I feel like admins can see you. All right, so who wants to hear their feedback? Not read the feedback you did. Who wants to hear their own? Who's brave and wants to hear what their date had to say about them? Don't everybody jump at once.
Okay.
Who's that?
This is sister.
Hi, sister. So who were you in the room with?
Valencia, Val,
Valencia.
Valencia, Valencia.
Dímelo. No, I'm kidding.
Valencia, are you prepared to share your feedback with sister, your feedback for her?
Sure. Why not?
Okay, so go ahead.
Okay. Yes, sister, I did enjoy our date. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate their date readiness? Maybe a 6 or 7.
Wow, that's pretty high. Wow.
You think so?
Come on,
I mean,
girl.
I feel
Get
that you're
brutal with
ready.
me. Get brutal with me. Go ahead. Go deep.
I mean, no, I mean, I feel like you're ready.
Mhm.
I mean, you said you were kind of jaded, when you did have those two guys ask you out. I mean, I think that, when it comes to like, I guess your person, like if they were a person you were willing to invest your time in, I think you would have. Um, that's just, that's what I think. Um, did you learn at least three things about your date? I believe I did. Great relationship with her father. Um, she said that she was older than me. Um, let me see, there was something else. There was a lot of things. I mean, try to just think when I could just pinpoint.
Anything you feel like you learned about her, just who she is, like her persona, besides just, logical facts?
Oh, you know what? I like the fact that she listens. Yeah, so when I was speaking, she, was able to ask follow-up questions, which was good. So she's a good listener as well. Would you fix your date up with a family member or friend? I wouldn't do that to you. My family.
I love it.
I mean, I can just keep it real. We're Haitian. So, I mean, not all Haitians are bad. Let me not say that, but for my family, no, I would not. For your sake. And what advice would you give your date on their future romantic interactions? Don't be afraid to explore your options, and don't, you deserve to be treated, like a queen. So if someone calls you and wants to spend some time with you, why not? You're a good person. You have great conversation. So, just go. Enjoy your time. Tomorrow's not promised. So
That's right.
Thank you for that, Valencia. So sister, I want to ask you a couple questions.
Yeah, sure.
How does it make you feel to hear the feedback?
Good. I like feedback actually.
Yeah, but this in particular, like what comes up for you specifically?
I was shocked that she thought I was dateable.
I heard that. Why is that?
Because I think I've gotten a little jaded, like I mean, not that anything terribly awful has happened, but I don't want to be negative, so yeah, I don't want to be
Go
negative.
ahead.
But I'm keep certain. Let's see. I'm just like, there used to be these songs. There used to be a song that used to go, how the song went? I can't remember the name of the song right now, but it was something like "These hoes ain't something"
Loyal.
or whatever.
These hoes ain't loyal. Isn't that
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, that song. Yeah. So I kind of have that kind of attitude with it, and not even so much that I had a loyalty problem. I never really had a big loyalty problem in any of my relationships, but it's more like I like my time alone sometimes. So I think I've gotten into this little like shell, like I was saying that yesterday I actually had two men call me to ask me out yesterday, two different men. And it was easy to say no. And maybe, maybe it shouldn't be that way, but it's like, whatever. I got stuff to do. I'm on my computer doing stuff.
Yeah, well, rather, sister, than the shouldn't, right? The shoulda, woulda, coulda, shouldn't have been that way. There's an opportunity here to see that my story about not being dateable or not being ready is something that I've decided, and it's actually just keeping me from it. Now, if I don't care to have an intimate partner and I want to be alone, that's no problem. Like if that's the ultimate goal is to be alone, no problem. But if I do want to have an intimate partner and I do want to be in this practice of dating, I got to be aware that my thinking that I'm not ready or that I'm not dateable, or my surprise that someone would think I was dateable, I got to be aware that that's going to stand in the way of actually being able to practice and explore and have fun and connect with someone in that way. Is it something that you want? Do you want to have an intimate relationship, or are you fine with being alone?
It goes back and forth, right? The idea of it
Yeah.
sounds fantastic. It's like, oh, but then like the actual practical part of it is like, oh God, I don't feel like being bothered. I got stuff to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's a disconnect there from, like, there's the fantasy, oh, it would be nice to do that. But in order to do that, now I got to go out with somebody.
Yeah.
I got to get to know someone. So that's what it is.
Yeah. But you see how, like, the stories that we build up around, and you said, I don't want to be negative, knowing that when I talk about this, I'm negative, right? So in the space of when I talk about this, I'm negative, what is possible?
Okay, so nothing is possible if I'm being negative,
Right?
because the
Nothing is possible but the
personality.
negativity.
Yeah.
Yeah, so of course I'm going to toggle back and forth. Do I want it? Do I not want it? Because every time I say, do I want it? I start going into the negative space about it. Well, these hoes ain't loyal. Do I really want to put up with all that? I really, like, as soon as I go into that space, I'm letting the past determine what my experience is going to be. And of course I decide, no, it's easier to be alone.
Right, yeah. And the funny
Yeah,
thing is, like, I think I said um before, it's not even like I had a problem with last mates in terms of being like, like that wasn't even my issue. So why am I taking that up? Like,
exactly.
like, doesn't make any sense.
Exactly, exactly. And we just want to be aware as we're maneuvering through this dating game, and it is a game if we're willing to approach it that way. We're kids in a playground, right? It's exploration, it's having fun. Actually, having fun with a level of safety to it, but it's meant to be enjoyed. But if we're that little kid that says, oh, I'm not going to get on the swing set because I'm going to scrape my knee because I scraped my knee before, so knee scraping is not something I want to do. I would rather just sit with moms on the picnic table, then that's what we're going to experience, right? So the idea is, what am I telling myself about dating that has me show up in a way that makes it unworkable? What do I think about dating? What is my framing of it? It has me show up in a way that I'm either in it or I'm out of it. I'm not really getting anything out of it. And I'm going along with whatever negative stories and negative things I see on social media that actually support what it is that I'm thinking. Right? So if we're actually wanting to masterfully date, our negative thinking and our assumptions about what dating is, they don't really get us anything. They don't really get us anywhere. So why do it?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we just want to be aware of those things. Is there anything else that you want to say about the experience of going on the date and getting a little feedback? And what are you committed to going forward as far as it's concerned? Do you want to get committed to having an intimate partnership?
Well, Valencia said something that I heard very loud just now about you know, just going out there. And actually it's been coming up. So it's been coming up to me like, just go have a good time. Stop
Yeah.
taking everything so serious. Like, just, go have lunch. She wants to have lunch, go have lunch, have fun, talk, put on some, like you say, cute earrings and be cute, have fun. And if it don't feel right, don't go again. That's
Exactly.
it. But I'm like left and right no's. Not like, I'm not trying to make it sound like the men are coming like crazy, but there are a few that
Coming.
do ring the doorbell. And I'm always like, uh.
But here's the thing about that too. We're often so quick to want to, reject and say, well, he doesn't look like I want, or he didn't speak like I want, or, we're quick to negate, especially with online dating. But, like I said in the beginning, that it's valuable practice. The people who are attracted to us and treat us respectfully. I'm not just talking about, any fool on the street who's saying rude or disrespectful things, but those who are attracted to us and treat us respectfully, we're in practice. And I'm not saying to you, it's not usury, it's I allow the exploration because you just never know where it can go. And like I said before, you don't know if someone that you're friendly with because they're attracted to you actually ends up being the conduit to the person that you're actually meant to be with, because you're not in the playground just playing the game. As soon as we have that thing where it's like, let's just cut them off, cut them off, cut them off, we cut off possibility. And like you said, there's nothing wrong with going out and having lunch without attachment, just enjoying myself, right?
Right. And enjoying the other person and getting to know them. So, yeah, I guess, I should loosen up a little bit
Yeah.
and enjoy life and enjoy people and give them an opportunity to enjoy me as well.
Yeah, and I think everyone in this community, it behooves us to honor the fact that we are on a healing journey. And so I can go out and enjoy other people because I take care of myself. I am supportive of my own healing, right? I'm somebody who's doing the work.
Right.
And I would suggest even someone who's not doing the work do it. So we have an advantage here. Just the fact that we are people here in this healing community, we actually care about who we be in the world. You have a major advantage,
Okay.
in dating, to just go out and let yourself have fun.
Okay.
Why not?
All right. All right. I just, okay.
Right.
Yeah, I received it. I mean, yeah, I definitely received it. I am going to shake my shoulders and stop being so, and don't cut myself off, because now that we're talking, like, stuff is starting to come. That always happens, right? Because you get me thinking, and I just thought that had this thought of, I did have this one situation, and I'm wondering if that's one situation. It was just a one date. I wonder if that's still sitting in me somewhere, and maybe I'm blocking my own. It's not like I'm cutting them off. I'm cutting myself off, maybe before I get cut off or something. I don't know, but I'm gonna think about it
Yeah.
and sit in it a little bit more.
Think about it. And if you ever want to talk about it, if you feel like it was a traumatic situation, definitely reach out. We can have a conversation.
Thank you. Give
Yeah.
thanks.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sister.
Yes, thank you
Sister,
too.
sister.
Yes. Yes.
I love you.
Love you too. Thank you, Coach Candice.
Thank you. And does anybody else want to hear their feedback? We still got a little bit of time. Who else wants to hear their feedback? What was said about them on the date? Anybody else want to be brave?
I'll hear mine. That's fine.
Who's this? I can't see who came on.
Oh, Valencia.
Valencia. Okay. So you were out with sister, right?
Yes, yes,
Yes.
All right,
definitely.
sister.
Okay, so here we go. So, what's the first question again? How do we start this?
So the first question is, did you enjoy your date?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. On a
Mm-hmm.
scale, Tiff, if you could put the slide back up so sister could see it. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate their date readiness? Did you learn at least 3 things about your date? Would you fix your date up with a family member or friend? And what advice would you give your date for their future romantic interactions?
Okay, so I enjoyed my date. On a scale from 1 to 10, how would you rate their readiness? I would say I would do the same thing, like a 6, 7. Did you learn at least 3 things about your date? Yes. We definitely connected a lot around our fathers. That was a big conversation with us. Yeah, because one of the questions were, how do you relate to your parent of the opposite gender? And so we both had this wonderful experience with our dads, the best. She kept saying, my dad is the best. And every time Valencia would say, my dad is the best, I would think about my dad and too. So,
Is there anything else that you picked up about Valencia's personality?
about her personality.
Yeah, out of the 3 things that you learned about her, was there anything that you picked up about her personality or her way of being, something that she might have not necessarily told you, or a logistical thing, but that you perceived about her?
Okay, that I perceived about her. Let's see. She seems to be she's definitely has a space within her that's open to love men because she loves her dad. So that means that there's a space there, you
Gotcha.
know, where you do know to love a man if there is the and I know that she has that potential to treat a man like a king because she did bring that up, you know,
Yeah.
that she has that in her, that any man who steps in her space, like she's ready to give him the kingly treatment.
Hmm.
So somebody's gonna be very lucky.
That's awesome. Go ahead. So what else did you say you put about Valencia?
Oh, would you fix your date up with a family member or friend? I kind of feel like her, my cousins. Oh my Lord, no,
Well,
no, no.
if you had somebody of a friend that you felt like would be a good person
Oh
for her.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah. As you know, she's young and beautiful.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay.
And what advice would I give your date for future romantic interactions? I think she got it. I mean, I think most men would love the kingly treatment. I
Mm.
think they would love the kingly treatment, and she's ready for that.
Yeah.
So somebody's gonna step into, some slippers being ready at the door and the cigar being lit. I think
I,
she has that in her. So um I would say, yeah, go with that. You can't go wrong with
Yeah.
treating a man like a king as long as you remember that you're a queen as well.
That's good advice. So Valencia, how do you feel hearing all of that? What comes up for you?
um, definitely the last part. I am a queen. Yeah. Um, I definitely forgot that. You know, when I was in my last relationship, treated me like crap, but I loved him so much, I didn't really care. So,
Mm.
and he's the father of my three kids. So, yeah, that definitely resonated with me. I received that, and I mean everything else. Yeah, it kind of touched me.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Talk.
yeah, God, I'm sorry.
In what way? Talk. You can talk about it. It's a-
Yeah, no, because I really was treated like crap for almost 20 years. I mean, honestly, he felt like being good to me was just buying me things, jewelry, cars, and stuff like that. But when things weren't his way, he would take everything back.
Hmm.
So, but I did treat him like a king. And, the way my mom, brought me up, just being from a Caribbean background, you know, as she said, having the slippers and dinner cooked. And, he didn't smoke a cigar, but I'll make sure his stuff was rolled up. And, you know, I literally did everything. It didn't matter. But I know that he just wasn't the person. It just sucked that it took so long for me to realize that. But
How long has this relationship been complete?
um I guess if you really want to say complete, uh December.
Since December. Are you complete?
I'm complete. Because we haven't been together sexually in almost 20 months.
Mhm.
Um and and we haven't been together physically because he was locked up only for, a few months, but we were living together. And after I got pregnant with our last child, we had gotten into a really big fight and he left, me and the other two children. So that really stung a lot, only because our teenager was going through a lot emotionally.
Mhm.
And, despite, how many times I pleaded with him to come back and, try to be there for her, he just did not. He just wanted to blame me for everything. So mentally, I was done. I guess you could say last year, maybe like April, because
Mhm.
I had our son in February, And, just the way that he just continues to, I mean, he was cursing me out in the hospital. I had a C-section. I'm just like out of it. And he was cursing me out then. So, nurses heard, everybody heard. So I was like mentally done like in May, and thank God, for WUE and Be the Tree, because I was able to, to start getting myself back. Because I went into deep depression and postpartum depression before, to the point that I almost lost my 2 children. So I definitely didn't want to go into that. So prayer definitely was huge. And I believe Sister Martine was sending like WUE information to my sister, and she was sending it to me. And that's how, I just started regaining myself back and just, allowing myself to heal and give myself grace and stuff like that. So I reached out to him knowing that I was becoming a different person, and I seen where my faults were and how things could have been better. And he just wasn't ready. And I just had to just like move on from that, because I couldn't stay where I got sick.
Yeah, absolutely. So now what are you committed to going forward? It sounds like you're on a journey. You're on a journey of healing and self-discovery. And so what are you committed to going forward? What is your what are you looking ahead to?
Like just letting myself be loved, I guess. I did have this guy that was courting me. I kind of like ended it, as you said, like to shut it off. And I know I deserve better, but I feel like it was maybe too soon. Because not to sound, like cocky or anything, 'cause I know I'm a great catch, I know I'm a good woman. I know that I could be understanding and supportive, everything that a man would need. But I just didn't want to be like it sounded like he wanted to try to lock me down already,
Got
you
it.
know, and I just didn't want that, so I kind of like cut that off.
Yeah.
So what I'm committed to is, I don't know, honestly, loving myself.
That's fair. That's absolutely fair. And also, I want to circle back to what you said about it sounds cocky. It doesn't sound cocky at all. So that ability to listen to your gut and your intuition, saying that it's too soon, it's too much too soon, that is the beginning of actually treating yourself differently. So acknowledge yourself for that. That is the beginning of not letting someone else's needs and wants cross your boundaries. That is the beginning of treating yourself like a queen, recognizing that this is too much too soon. I'm not ready for it, and letting it go. There's nothing cocky about that. So I want you to just honor that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And you sound like you're doing all the things. So just stay on the journey. You have the community to support you. You have me to support you. 100%. You're in a time period where it can often take a lot of just allowing of the feelings, processing the feelings, letting the feelings come through you, crying the tears. How we say in Be the Tree, tears are libation. And just like you said, give yourself grace, you know. Yeah. Yeah. Is there anything else you want to say about the interaction of being on the date with sister? Anything else that is a takeaway for you before we get complete?
I mean, it's good to, I think the questions were good, to be able to learn someone outside of the typical dating questions. So
I wanted us to not feel afraid. Here's the thing about it. So oftentimes we get to know someone, or we're starting to get to know someone, and we can be afraid. And even if we've known someone for a long time and we decide to go on a date, it's those things that are left unsaid, those questions that we're unwilling to ask because we're afraid to dig too deep or to say too much or to learn too much about that person. So we're in a day and age now where, we've just gotten through a pandemic and a lot of people have dealt with trauma, and, there's a lot around mental health and mental health challenges and things like that. And so, the best thing that we can do for ourselves right now is be as forgiving with ourselves as possible and be as graceful with ourselves as possible, and understand that our story is what has determined who we are and where we are at, and our alignment with our story and what's important to us and knowing ourselves is what has us attract something that will I don't know, I guess support us something that will align with us, our willingness to just be in it and share it and be okay with it and not judge it. You know, it's that getting to a place where I'm unconditional about myself. So therefore, I don't have to be conditional about you. Does that resonate? Does that support in any way? Anybody? You can say in the chat if you're feeling it. I see Adam says self-doubt is the greatest way to our own enslavement, mental and physical. Absolutely, Adam. Absolutely.
Yes, Adam's over in the chat dropping quite a few gems.
Mhm.
He added some additional questions that he would ask while he was on a date that may be in the deck as well.
Are you mentally free? How do you truly feel about yourself? That's a great question, Adam.
Right. That one about how you feel about yourself is I think one of the far more important ones, because
Yeah.
somebody can love you all they want, but if you're not loving yourself, it's not gonna help.
Yeah. And all these questions are okay. They're okay to ask as long as we're not asking them with attachment and judgment. So these are the takeaways I want us to have. It is much easier in this dating game to have fun and explore and vibe high without attachment, without that need for each date you go on to be the one, right? And you only need one. So we have this idea that we're supposed to date a lot, and every person we date is supposed to be somebody that we're compatible with. And the reason that I feel like that's the framing is because we're mad if we're not. And it's okay if we're not. It's okay if every person is not somebody that you would be attracted to. It's okay if every person is not someone you would align with, because the interaction is valuable because you get to practice, you get to have fun. You're having fun and learning and growing for when you do meet that one. And so everybody is valuable. Dating is just practicing partnership. That's the other takeaway. The other is the best way to be a space for vulnerability is to share yourself. So we want the people that we interact with, we want to connect our hearts, share who you are. And the best way to be able to share who you are is to be unconditional about who you are. Everybody's not going to like it, and that's okay. Because that's just the universe, that person letting you know, I'm not in alignment with where you are right now. And that's okay. Because your one person is going to love all of it. And they're going to align with all of it. So just allow that. But no one has any questions or statements that they want to make, anything they want to share before I complete? We're at 8:38. I went over a little bit.
Yeah, hi, this is Teresa. I just got on, but
Hi,
I like
Mama.
what Valencia said. Peace and blessings, Sister Candice. Love you, Sister Girl, and the whole family. What Valencia was saying was about like I've been on since just like consecration and just not talking to men right now. Because I just feel like I've been so involved with men that I just miss who I am. And it's been tempting, to not to speak to anyone, but I feel good about making that decision because I feel like I've been so lost up in men that I just didn't figure out who I am. And so I feel good about it. 'Cause I just feel like I just need to be with me right now.
Yeah.
And not just with men, but just, well, men is one of the things, but just, and I've had people call and I was like, I said that I'm doing this thing and I need you to respect what I'm doing. So I haven't been answering. And I'm tempted to answer. I was like, no, Teresa, don't answer because it's something that you need to do for yourself. And it feels good. Like yesterday I was painting. I painted yesterday about how I felt about some stuff. And I just feel really, really good, from doing that
That's
painting.
beautiful, Teresa. My invitation would be, as you're in that place of getting with yourself,
Hmm.
you also want to explore, what am I attaching to interactions with men that I make it that I can't be talking to them as well? And that's not, something to figure out in this moment. As you're in
Right.
that exploration and you're painting, the question to myself is, what am I attaching to conversations with men that is something I have to cut off in order to be with myself? Right. So if you get a chance to go back and watch the replay, the understanding
Okay.
is that it's all about letting go of the attachments that keep us from being able to interact, that keep us from being able to just be in the playground and play and enjoy ourselves and continue to grow alongside and have a yes and. right? But I thank you, sis. I don't want to cut you off, but we are at
No, it's
8:40.
fine. No, it's
We're
good.
at
It's
8:40.
good.
So
I'm grateful for whatever time I got. I'm good.
yeah, I
Thank
appreciate
you.
you for coming.
Thank
Love you
you.
very much.
Love you too.
All right. All right, y'all. We are complete if no one has anything else. So I have the Love Life Leaders Club. Y'all know I have my club that I'm building. We're launching, soft launching on Wednesday. And it's just a whole group of people who really are committed to having a loving, intimate connection, a love life that loves you back. I take you through my whole Love Life Skills for Leaders intensive. Normally it's a 12-week intensive, but this club is a year-long membership where you have access to my Love Life Skills for Leaders curriculum. It's a community. We support each other. We work together. It's not just learning all of the tools, but it's also supporting each other in the tools and also networking, because you never know, what sis, what friend, what goddess, what mentor, what coach you meet might have a brother. So it's all of those things. Nylaja, I hope I'm saying your name right. You say, how do we join? This is how you join. So first of all, you can get in touch with me, Candice at CandiceHarperLoveCoach.com. WUE gets a promo code, WUE23. It's only $167 a month. 1 year membership is normally $45.99. For the WUE community, I'm taking $25.99 off of it. And you have the whole year, $167 a month. And then beyond that, you're still a member of the club, even though you won't have access to the digital curriculum. And the idea is that within that year, you come out of that year having matched with your soulmate, right? Having done the healing work that you need to do, having healed the past, learn to love yourself unconditionally, and start all over from a clean slate so that you can be a space for that ideal partner that you want to be with. And also have the support for continuing on in the relationship and continuing to grow together. So you can go to the link that's on the slide. We could also maybe put it in the chat as well, admin, if you don't mind. It's CandiceHarperLoveCoach.com/the-LLC. Also, you can just reach out to me and have a consult conversation. And, we can talk about whether the club is right for you, whether one-on-one coaching is right for you, or just, have a conversation. So I do complimentary consults. You could either give me a call, you can email me, Candice at CandiceHarperLoveCoach.com, and I will send you a link and we'll schedule a call and just talk about it. See if I'm the right person to help you, right? I believe I probably am, but it's an exploration. So definitely reach out to me. Also, my Facebook page is Candice Harper Love Coach. And so love offerings and donations, you know how we do in the WUE space. Money, my own natural energy yield, is about abundance, cycle of abundance. You know that you get value for value. So if you feel like you have gotten value today, you've got something to walk away with that's going to support you, then show us in return and keep your cycle of abundance moving. So the Zelle is soleadershipdevelopment@gmail. Oh, thank you too. The Cash App is $Spirit of a Woman. And the code for today is number 761. We're at 761 and CH, which is my initials, 761CH. And also, if you want to do monthly automated love offerings, which is a fantastic thing to do as far as your finances. If you're someone who, if this is your tithe, to automate as much of your finances as possible. It's a very great way to support yourself in your financial abundance and in your cycle and your flow. And if this is your tithe, this is a great way to do this every month. And you don't even have to think about it. There's different amounts here, 25, 50, 75, or 100. So I encourage you to just pick one and automate. All right, coming up is Tanine Harmony on Monday, which is tomorrow morning. Pay yourself first, 3 strategies to prioritize what's important to you. That sounds fantastic. I think I'm gonna come to that. I've not met Tanine yet, but I've heard very good things about her. And then Shauna Lee and John Carl on Tuesday, Alignment with Desires of the Soul, which is beautiful. Y'all know I love alignment. I love an alignment conversation. So we definitely wanna be there for that. Let's give it to Tiff.
Thank you so much, Candice. All right, everybody, welcome all new members to the WU Nation. If this is your first session and you are joining us either in the Zoom space or on Facebook, we welcome you and we encourage you to come back tomorrow and the day after that and the day after that. You are now part of a community that comes together to learn, elevate, and ascend. This is the Wake Up Everybody virtual schedule. We're live on Zoom and Facebook 5 days a week, Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays from 7 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. and Mondays and Wednesdays from 7 to 7:30. If you'd like a notification when it's time to hop onto one of these platforms, please text the word WU Nation in cap lock to 74121. Our swag store is up and going. We have that new merch in there, the much requested wool leggings and our affirmation candles. So please go and shop us at bit.ly/woo swag. Get your merch. It's always gift giving season. Valentine's Day is around the corner. So show that special someone how much you like them and love them by inviting them into the WU space. Thank you. And here's how you stay in touch with us. Register weekly at bit.ly/wake up movement. Join us on Facebook. You can join us in our private group at bit.ly/woo community or follow our public page, which is bit.ly/woo nation. On Instagram, we're at Wake Up Everybody Virtual. You can catch episodes on YouTube at bit.ly/woo on YouTube. And last and certainly not least, you can always email us at info.wakeupseries@gmail.com. We are always looking for more admin support, more content, more presenters. So if you have something you want to share or a gift you can share, please email us. We will gladly welcome you in. At this time, I ask all participants who are still in the space to come off of mute. It is time to rain a verbal love shower on Candice, our love coach, for sharing and dropping those jewels today. Thank you, Candice.
Thank you
Thank you
so
Thank
so
you,
much.
much.
Candice.
Thank you,
Awesome,
Candace.
Thank
sister.
you, Candice, for
Amazing.
this great
Well,
presentation on the
thank you
importance
so
of
much.
dating. And I just want to say, let's
Thank
move
you.
forward, everyone, and
Thank
have a
you,
blessed day.
You
Candice.
reminded me that
Thank you for loving on us
dating
and
is a
showing us how
playground.
to love
Love you.
And
ourselves.
I
so
said, oh
much.
my God.
Learn to love
Appreciate
ourselves.
it.
And
Thank you so much.
So
Thank
much.
you.
it
God bless
reminded
you.
me that if I
Thank
do
you.
want
Love
my
you guys.
dating
Happy Sunday.
to
Have a
be
great
in the
day.
light
You
and
too.
Happy
be
Sunday,
proud of who I
Amelia.
God bless.
am.
Nice
Thank
to
you,
see
Coach
all of y'all. Love
Candice.
y'all.
Appreciate
Yes,
you take
sir.
your
Appreciate
time.
the
Good this
family.
morning.
Love
Thank
y'all
you.
so
Thank
much.
you.
Good, good.
Have a great day. God bless.
Love you.
Blessings.
Love y'all. Take care. Some blessings.
I love you.